Shalom. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, wa Malak Yahushua. All right, so you see the title of the lesson. Make this short and sweet. All right, so dealing with this, what they call a government shutdown. All right, I want to pull this up right quick. I should already had it pulled up. 1 second. I want to pull up. So in the next 48 hours, it's supposed to be a government shutdown, right? In the middle of a pandemic. They're worrying about losing money in a government shutdown in the middle of a pandemic, man. That's how you know it's all a setup. It's all a stage, man. It's all a stage. Government shutdown. In the next 48 hours, there is supposed to be a government shutdown. Right, so we got the timeline right here. Right. This is where they started, and this is where they're going. This has been the process of it. So on the 28th of 26th, it began 48 hours, I believe. Now that it's 12, according to them, it's another morning. So yeah, man, it's about to be another government shutdown, right? In the middle of a pandemic. And I pulled up this right here. These are the effects of dealing with a government shutdown, man. And all of these effects goes into the scriptures, man, goes into the prophecies on what the Most High said was going to happen, right? So the first scripture, I want to pull out a scripture first before I actually just read these, Salakia. All right, so this is Proverbs 16:4, because this is something we have to understand at the end of the day. It says, the Lord hath made all things for himself. Yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil, right? And that's what we in, right? The Lord has activated the days of evil that we look forward to, man, that we always, try to prepare ourselves for. This is the beginning of it, right? Government shutdowns in the middle of a pandemic, right? Is deeper than, what you think, man. It's way deeper, right? So the Lord have made all things for himself. Yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil. So it's not it's not a government shutdown. It's the Lord actually, testing their mind, putting their mind through it to make them make these kind of moves, man. Because the Lord is tired of waiting. The Most High is about to judge his people first, and he's going to judge the heathen, right? So let's get that right quick. The Lord is about to judge Israel first, right? Dealing with Jacob's trouble. 1 Peter 4:17. 1 Peter 4:17, it says, For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of God. Who's the house of God? The Israelites are the house of God. The church of God that was in the wilderness, right? 1 Corinthians 6:19, I believe, right? Telling that we are the temple of the Most High God, us Israelites. So that the house of God, the tabernacle, the home of God is the Israelites. So for the time has come that judgment must begin at the Israelites. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God? Right? So, hey, if it's going to begin with the Israelites, what it's going to look like for the ones who obey not the gospel? So, hey, our people are about to get exterminated, man. And that's just what it is. And it's all going to be through, his sword, the wicked. So I pulled up a couple articles, but I want to get into this one right here. And the cost of a government shutdown, right? The things that you will be losing, right? So you got the loss of dollars, right? I'm not going to actually read them, but you got the loss of dollars, right? Dealing with the IRS, the IRS being closed, you can't get nothing. There's no stimmies, right? There's no child income tax credit. There's none of that, man, during a shutdown. And that's why they're doing that. They're trying to make it seem like they're in so much debt, when yet these are the people that create the money. It's all illusion of choice, man. They got you in an illusion, right? The masses of the people, right? But Esau is getting exposed, man. Esau's tired of getting exposed. He see that his plan is being talked about. He see ain't nobody taking this, this crack scene serious, right? People doing videos about it. People not taking it serious, man. So it's going to piss him off like it tells you in Revelation 12 and 12. Right? So let me get that right quick. Revelations 12 and 12. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. Right? It says, for the devil is come down to you. Right? And who do we call the devil? Esau, man. Idumea. It says, for the devil is come down unto you, right? Having great wrath. And it tells us why, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. He know his time is short. That's why he's trying to get everybody to comply to the New World Order, right? They said it in Australia already. They're declaring a New World Order. So all along, those so-called conspiracy theorists been right this whole time, right? We know what this is resoluting to, right? The MOTB, man. Straight up. Right. So it says not only loss of dollars dealing with the IRS, right? You got Social Security. So the people that draw a check every month, man, that that pay their bills, man, that's going to come to a halt during this shutdown. Right. And they're going to try to keep it shut down as long as possible. Right. It says you got the health care, man. All that going to, getting checkups and, going for a injury or surgery or whatever the case is, x-rays, grandma going because she got diseases dealing with her. All that's about to come to a stop when a government shutdown comes into play, right? And what does that cause? A lot of chaos. Hey, and that's what this is about. Order out of chaos, man. The same people in ancient Rome, they did the same things. Problem, reaction, solution. Right? They set these problems out. Why would you shut down the government in the middle of a pandemic? Right? It's all set up, man. And the ancient Romans, they did the same thing, man, dealing with Julius Caesar. They did the same thing. Same kind of events, man. Right? The Senate is the one who's talking about this government shutdown. Right? You got the Republicans, you got the Democrats. They acting like they against each other, but they really working together, man. You don't see those councils that they have behind closed doors, man. Right? And if that wasn't the case, Psalms 83 will be null and void, man. They all come together, man, with one tumult. They're not against each other. Right? And that goes back to ancient Rome. That's how we know these are the Romans. These are the Greeks. These are the same people. The Edomites, man. Right? Because back then in the Roman world, you had the Republicans, which is the poplars, that's what they was called. And the Democrats was the optimates, right? Same thing, man. They just had different names, right? One were red and one were white. Same thing, man. And it's all a setup, man. Right? So, like I said, man, you got that order out of chaos. And one of the ways the Romans fell, man, it was the economy collapsed. And that's what we seeing, man. That's why they're trying to say they're in debt, so much debt. Their economy is collapsing, right? Their plans are not being successful, right? But I want to get this. Psalms 83 and 2. It says, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against against thy people and against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. So it's talking about everybody, all nations. They're not the Republicans and the Democrats. It's not against each other. They're actually working with each other. Like I said, they have secret councils behind closed doors when they're not on camera, man. You think when that camera cut off, they just get up and walk off? No, that's not what's going on. Right? It says they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. It says, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Right? So it says, come, let us come together and be confederate against Israel. That's the whole objective. They're all against us, but they're giving us this illusion, thinking that they're, one is good and one is bad. The Republicans is for the rich and the Democrats is for the poor. Right? The Democrats even got money, man. That's all smoke and mirrors. All right. So, hey, dealing with this, So you got the healthcare dealing with, hospitals, clinics, anything like that, CDC, right? You got the environment, right? Toxic waste, no trash man is going to be running. Hey, none of that kind of stuff when there's a government shutdown, right? This creates toxicity in the community, right? Because that trash has to be taken out. And Americans, they so lazy, man. They don't even care. They leave trash full, overflowed for weeks, whatever. And that can get you sick, man. But they don't care, right? Hey, but wandering after that beast, man, it's going to get you put to death, man. Right? You got the law enforcement and public safety, right? So there's no more law enforcement. You're not going to be able to call the police when something happens, right? Your store get broken into, right? Your house, your car, right? You're not going to be able to call them, right? And this is all the fulfillment of scriptures, man. Let's get that right quick. 2nd Ezra 15. It tells us that, man. And I love bringing out 2nd Ezra 15 and 2nd Ezra 16 because that's the times that we're actually living in. Or I wouldn't be able to bring it out in almost every lesson. Right? So this is 2nd Ezra 15 and 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Right? That goes for everyone, man. It tells you that in Isaiah 24. It names all the people from different backgrounds, man. Most I said he's going to hit the reset button on this place. It says, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. The modern day sword is gun, right? And we say right here, during a government shutdown, the law enforcement and public safety, hey, they're going to come to naught. So then what you going to do then, right? All them tough Edomites that like to call the police instead of handling their own problems, what they going to do then, right? All them Edomites that got, brothers put to death, brothers locked up, right? They're hated, right? Like the brother that killed Trayvon Martin, like the brother that just killed George Floyd. Man, the police not going to be able to protect them. Protective custody not going to be able to protect them, right? It says, verse 16, for there shall be a sedition among men. A sedition goes into rebellion. They're not going to be listening to these people because there's not going to be anybody to listen to during a government shutdown. And yeah, we know one thing for sure. We know that these are practices. We know that, of course, but it's going to come a point of time where it's going to be the real deal, man. It's going to be the real deal, right? They're not practicing this for nothing. Look up the Rex 8, not 83, but Rex 91 plan, right? Them performing military drills and things like that on American soil, right? Because at first it was illegal for the military to practice drills on the soil, but they signed an executive order to where they can do that now, right? It's called the Rex 91 plan, right? But let's keep going. It says, verse 16 again, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. So there we go. No more law enforcement and public safety. Hey, man, it might be your local police officer that's coming to get your stuff out of your house. Just because he know you already. He know you had money. Right? He know you had whatever he needed. Whatever you was caught selling, he knew you had it, he needed, he wanted, or he can profit off of it. He's going to come get it from you. Right? It says, hey, this is the point. It says, they shall not regard their kings nor princes. And their kings nor princes is the Senate, the Congress, the U.S. Congress, man. It says, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Why? Because during a government shutdown, there's going to be no law enforcement or public safety. This is scriptures being fulfilled, man. Right? It's just a matter of time, man. The Lord is trying to wake people up, by sending forth these kind of things on earth, but our people not going to listen, right? But it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Hey, we already seeing the beginning stages of that, right? You can't go to certain states if you don't have that crack scene. Straight up, man. You can't even go to other countries if you don't have it. So a man shall desire to go into another city and shall not be able. Eventually, you're not going to be able to leave wherever you are. And then it's going to get to a point where you can't even function in society without it. Man, they just posted. I seen an article on my phone. They posted on my phone, I believe it's this morning or yesterday morning, where they said we cannot even, we can't even talk about it really no more. You know, they putting more strict restrictions on it. Now, instead of them striking you, they're just going to take your page down. Instead of taking that video down, they take your page down. Right? That proves that those conspiracy theories brothers was telling the truth, man. We're shedding a more bigger light on it, right, than them brothers did. We're using scripture, the holy scriptures, right? But it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Like I said, pretty soon you're not even going to be able to leave Oklahoma if that's where you're from, right? California if that's where you're from. Straight up, man. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, right? It's going to turn into a military state, right? Military all out on the highways and the byways, man. Telling you, you know, you can't be outside at a certain time, you know? Or like I said, if they hungry or whatever, man, they coming in your crib. And it tells us that in the scriptures, right? In chapter 16. But it says, verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, right? All those friendly neighbors that you have, man, they ain't gonna give a damn when they hungry. They ain't gonna give a damn when their kids is sick. They ain't gonna give a damn when they thirsty, man. They not gonna care, right? And this is all the Lord doing this, man. We see it in the scriptures all day, man. You know, through, you know, what we call supernatural events, man. Hey, this is going to be the time of miracles, right? For his elect, right? So it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. What's their modern day sword? The gun, man. It says, so like it says, and spoil their goods. What are your goods, man? Your electronics, your food. It says they're going to spoil it. They're going to take what they want and leave what they don't want. That's what spoil is, right? Hey, even women are spoils of war. So they're going to be taking your women, also your children, putting them into slavery, man. Having them carrying a luggage, man, around. Whatever. But it says because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, right? Straight up, man. It's going to be horrible out here. Like I said, these are warm-up stages. The Lord is trying to get us to wake up, man. But, you know, the people ain't going to wake up. So let's get this. Hey, we try to do lessons on this all the time, doing what? The Lord, hey, as far as we are right now, there's no turning back, man. There ain't no the Lord about to just, all right, it's cool, just ease off for him for a little bit. Nah, man, it's that time, man. It's the end of the world, man. And when we say the end of the world, we talking about the end of Esau's world, because we know we have a kingdom awaiting us. We are the kingdom, right? This is Isaiah 55:11. It says, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. Hey, so whatever the Lord tells us in these scriptures, these holy scriptures, man, and that's what it's going to be, man. Like what we just read in 2 Ezra 15. When does that happen? When does that happen? The Lord is activating the days of evil, man. Like we just read in Proverbs 16:4. Hey, and guess who he's using? He's using, hey, you're right, man. The physical counterpart of Satan, man. The spiritual demon Satan. His physical counterpart, Esau, Idumea. Just like we're the physical counterparts of Yahweh and Yahweh Shah. They're the physical counterpart of Satan. And I'm not saying Satan was didn't have no melanin or nothing like that. It's just the men that he used, men, women, and children that he used to perform wickedness on earth. Right? So like you. All right, so this is 2 Ezra chapter 16 and 22. Right? 2 Ezra 16 and 22. In fact, I'm starting 21. It says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Right? Just like how we looking at it now, it's expensive, but things are going to get real cheap. Real cheap. Right? Like right now, a gallon of gas in California like $6.37, right? I'm in Oklahoma. It's like $2 here. So we see it graduating, right? Like this, the Most High said what happened in the scriptures in Deuteronomy 32:1. So all praises, man. We see this happening, man. That's closer for us to get out of here. Man, you ain't tired of working every day? When we see things like government shutdown, you should look at that and be happy, man. You shouldn't even worry about if you're doing what you got to do through the Spirit, man. You know, trying to make your heart perfect towards the Most High. Bro, you shouldn't have nothing to worry about, right? You should have confidence that the Lord is going to save you, right? Only a wicked person going to doubt the Most High in that time because they don't want that time to come. They're going to doubt the Most High because they know they ain't doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? Whether I die or not, man. Hey, all praises that I had the opportunity to serve the Most High God, man. And I'm going to die with confidence. Like we all should. You know, I don't plan on dying. Of course not. But you have to, you know, prepare your mind for it. Prepare for the worst and hope. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best. That's just what it is. But let me finish this. It says, behold, victuals. And when you go into the word victuals, it's food. It says, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth. Right? A lot of evils are growing upon the earth right now, man. You can't even trust your own parents. You can't trust your kids. Right? Yahweh spoke of that, man. He said, brother shall give up brother. And they should be put to death, man. That's not only talking about just councils, man. We're talking about them setting up their own people for money, doing all kind of different things, man. The evils are growing upon the earth. People are lovers of themselves, man. You can't even get family to pay for a funeral nowadays, man. For the backbone, you know, of the family, when they pass, you can't even get the family members to pay for it, man. Right? They got money in the bank, but they're so worried about their own self, right? I stack this money. This is my money. That's what they think about. And the scriptures tell you not to let your money. It says to make your money, but don't let it rust under a stone. That means don't just sit on your money and just be like, yeah, I got thousands of dollars in the bank. No, that's not how we're supposed to do it. We're supposed to use that as a defense to help. Now, do you save money? Of course. But in situations like that, man, there should be no talking about a funeral getting planned or a pay for Salakia. Right? But it says, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Nobody know what the hell going on. It's so much stuff going on. Like I said, a pandemic and a government shutdown in the middle of a pandemic. That is great confusion. You be like, wait, so it's a pandemic, but y'all worrying about being in debt? This is the world's biggest pestilence. Y'all say the world's biggest. Oh my God, millions of people dying and y'all worrying about being in debt. So y'all gonna do a government shutdown. Make sense of that, man. That's great confusion, right? And we see the famine, the food shortages, right? That's why it's so expensive, but it's going to get cheap, right? And it says you're going to think yourself to be in good case, right? I believe it tell you that in 2 Thessalonians also, when you shall yell peace, 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 peace and safety, then shall sudden destruction come upon you. But it says, then evil shall grow upon the earth, sword, more shooting, more deaths from shooting, right? It says famine and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine. A lot of people are going to starve to death, right? We see the beginning stages of it now, man. Look at them over there in, where was it? I think it was Australia or it was Brazil, man. I think it was Brazil, right? They had the southern kingdom down there. I mean, the northern kingdom down there. The women and men it was an article of the women. A lot of the women that was the top doctors in Brazil. They was prostituting her. They had to go to prostitution because they couldn't pay for their bills or anything because of the chaos that was happening. Right? because of the food shortage, right? Them going and them eating food out of trash cans, man. They're fighting over the food in the trash cans. The top workers in that country, or that wherever they was, man, was turning to prostitution. When I seen that article of that woman, she was like one of the best doctors in that whole country, and she had to turn to prostitution. Hey, that's the times we looking upon. But hey, it gets more. It says, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. And the other, like the rest of the people that don't, the more people that's in other countries, right? Like America, right? We're not worrying about the famine right now, right? Because it's just mild. It's not severe, right? It says, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy, right? Government shutdown, no law enforcement. The sword is going to destroy you. And I say again, man, this don't have to be the final one where it's like, oh crap. Nah, it's going to graduate. It says, and the dead, verse 23, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, right? When you or a dog, let's use a dog. When you take your dog out to boo boo, the dog don't pick it up and try to put it in the bag. You don't pick it up and try to put it in the bag. You just leave it there, man. It's going to take care of itself. It's going to absorb into the earth, man. Right? That's why they use cow manure to grow plants. Right? That's why I smell like that, because that's cow manure. Right? That's dung. But it helps fertilize. They use it as fertilizer. Right? So it's going to take care of itself. But it says, and the dead shall be cast out as dung. When you die, you're going to be left there, man, to take care of yourself, man. Right? The ants, the flies, the maggots, everything is going to take care of you. It says, and there shall be no man to comfort them. Right? It says, for the earth shall be wasted and the city shall be cast down. Right? So I got a precept for this. So it says the city shall be wasted. Let's get that in Isaiah 24, man. Beautiful. Right? Because we tired of being here, man. And we tired of all these different communities that's against the Bible, man. We tired of all of them, man. It's time for the Lord to speak. And when the Most High speaks, he speaks through action, like he did in the book of Exodus, man, when he spoke to the Israelites. The mountains started to shake, right? Thundering, lightning. That's how the Most High speaks. He speaks with action, right? That's an action for the mountains and the thunder to shake and roar, right? But this is Isaiah 24:1, right? We just read that in 2nd Ezra where it says the earth shall be empty. Isaiah 24:1, behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty. There we go again. Isaiah is a prophecy that has not been fulfilled either, right? But it is starting to be. Like I said, the Most High is activating the days of evil, right? So it says, the Lord, behold, the Lord Yahweh, while Yahweh shall maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. Right? We just read that there's going to be great confusion. So there you have it. It's saying the same thing. Isaiah is saying the same thing Ezra was saying. It says, verse 2, and it shall be as with the people. So the same is going to happen to all these people. So with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, right? There's a lot of servants and there's a lot of masters on this earth, right? But it says, the first thing it says, Salaki, I don't want to skip it. As with the people, so with the priest. There's a lot of priests on this earth. There's a lot of people that listen to that priest, right? As with the servant, so with his master. There's a lot of servants on this place and there's a lot of masters, right? As with the maid, so with her mistress, right? As with the buyer, so with the seller, right? It's a lot of that going on. It's a lot of buyers and it's a lot of sellers on earth, right? So far, everybody on earth probably fit one of these descriptions, right? Whether you're a buyer or a seller, or you're a servant or a master, right? It says so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury. So with the giver of usury, to him the land shall be utterly empty, right? In a large mass number, man. That's where it goes into also a man shall desire to go into another city and shall not be able. There's another precept where it says a man shall desire to hear another man's voice and shall not be able. Why? Because it's going to be a mass death, man. Mass death. And this government shutdown is a part of it, right? Woe unto them that go down to Egypt for help, right? That's what a lot of people are going to be doing, going down to Egypt for help, or staying upon him that smote them, right? It said that the remnant wouldn't do that. So we look forward to this happening, right? These prophecies being fulfilled, right? So it says, the land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord hath spoken this word. And that means the Lord said, when he say that, he's like, I'm not playing. This is what this is about to be, right? Because we know it's the Lord who's spoken the word. So why is he saying that? He's giving you a key word, like, hey, this ain't no joke, right? But the world ain't gonna hearken to that. And it's going to tell us why, man. Let's keep going. It says the earth, verse 4, the earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languished and fadeth away, right? And we see that happening on a daily basis, man, right? The earth fading away. The water's polluted, man. The air is polluted, man. The ground is polluted. Hey, everything is polluted. So the earth is fading away. The world is fading away, right? That don't mean it's going to be completely done away with, but it's starting to fade away. It's going to need to be cleansed, man. Especially the Western Hemisphere. So like it says, the haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, right? So it's nobody but the people that's inhabiting the earth, beginning with the so-called elites, man, who the Lord gave into the hands of them, right? Satan's counterparts, physical counterparts. It says, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant, right? So let me rephrase that. Not starting with the so-called elite, starting with the Israelites, because we are the ones who are supposed to have the world in subjection. So let me read this again. It says the earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, man, changed the ordinance, and broken the everlasting commandments. The everlasting covenant, Salakia. So, hey, man, the Lord is about to hit the reset button, hey, because we messed up. That's why judgment has to begin with us first, because we're the ones supposed to have the earth in subjection. But since we didn't, we broke the laws and we broke his covenant, hey, we have to pay for that, right? And we see the results of it, man. We see the results, right? It says, well, that's it on that. All right, so I want to go back to Second Ezra. Second Ezra 16. So reading this again, verse 23, Second Ezra 16 and 23, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted. There we go, Isaiah 24. It says, and the city shall be cast down, right? There's going to be a lot of fires, right? A lot of invading these small businesses and large businesses. It's going to be a lot of all that, man. And after they done setting them on fire, right? Rome is on fire again. That's what it's going to look like, right? It says, there shall be no man. Hey, and to say this, right? We know for a fact this is the ancient Rome, man. Dealing with even, like I said, the concrete, man. Dealing with the what they call it's the court system, but back then they call it the patronage, right? Dealing with favoritism in the court system instead of dealing with righteousness, like our law tells us, not have any respect of person. The Romans, they had respect of persons. They took briberies, man, right? They had patronage towards certain people, like wealthy golf men today, right? They can call the Senate or the mayor and be like, hey, my son did this. I need you to drop the charges, or I need you to say it wasn't him, right? That's what the Romans used to do. That's how we know these are the people, right? That deadly wound was healed, but he's going to go into perdition, right? And perdition is destruction, right? So come, let me keep reading. It says, there shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. Right. In today's sense, that's going into farmers, man. Those farmers be wicked, man. They be listening to some of the things that the government put out, you know, by spraying certain chemicals on the animals or on the plants, right? The fruits, right? To help destroy us. So they got to go too, man. It says, the trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them, right? Because we don't know how to plant certain things, man. We don't know what the process is on planting them and making them grow ripe and fully, right? The farmers do. That's why it says, the tree shall give fruit, and who shall gather them, right? Because we don't know how to do these certain things. We used to go into restaurants, man. We used to go into Walmart, Winco, right? That's what we used to, and buying it instead of planting it ourselves. It says the grapes shall ripen. Hey, and this is talking about a modern sense. I'm giving you a modern sense of it. It says the grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them, right? Who's going to turn them into wine, right? For all places shall be desolate of men, right? Because in the middle of this government shutdown, man, Esau's going to come in like a flood, like the scriptures say. Let me get that right quick before we continue. Esau going to come in like a flood. It says he's going to come in like a madman, sparing none, right? But still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord, right? And Israelites as a whole fear the Lord. They just do it wrong, man. So it's talking about the Israelites. But this is Isaiah 59 and 19. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. It says, when, and it's talking about the Israelites, man, throughout the four corners of the earth. But it says, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, man. And when you see a flood, man, it comes in fast and strong. And that's how they're going to come in. They're going to come in fast and strong, man. It's going to be out of the blue, and they're going to have everything set up. Robotic dogs, robotic man-shaped robots, man. Right? That can scan you and, do their thing, man. Examining you, see if you got the vaccine, seeing if you got the jab, seeing if you got the MOTB, and if you don't, and they can their objective can be to destroy you. There's going to be all of that, right? And then you have the Edomites as individuals, man, that service the army. I'm trying to watch my words because certain words you say, man, they're trying to flag the page. But it says, and I know you hear that from all camps, man. But it says, so shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, right? It says the spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against them, right? He's going to lift up a wall, man, to block them, right? It tells you in 2nd Ezra that he was going to take care of us, man. All right, so let's get that for comfort. All right, let's get that for comfort. Because they're going to come in like a flood, man. They're going to come in like a madman, sparing none, right? Because he know that he have a short time. Roughly paraphrasing. Hey, but this is comfort for the elect, though, man. And Lord willing you to elect. This is 2nd Ezra 2 and 26. It says, as for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish, for I will require them from among thy number. Hey, what number is he talking about? He's talking about he's going to require the 1/3 from the 2/3, right? It says, be not weary, right? Don't get tired. It says, for when the day of trouble and heaviness come, right? What trouble? Jacob's trouble. It says, others shall weep and be sorrowful, right? It says, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance, like he tells you in Isaiah 65, verse 12. And it's like a couple more verses after that. He tells you the same thing. He says, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. My servant shall be joyful, but you shall howl and be vexation of spirit. Right? So the Lord is going to take care of us, man, in the middle of this government shutdown, right? In the middle of this so-called pandemic. It's going to really be a pandemic pretty soon, right? It's going to, like at the Yellowstone National Park, I believe it is, there's a lake with a horrible, they say there's a lake with a horrible disease under it, and the water is the only thing that's blocking it, that's keeping it from coming above, right? Come on now. The Most High has things set up beautifully, man. It says, verse 28, the heathen shall envy thee but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, said the Lord. It says, my hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell. Right? So the Lord's hand is going to cover us by way of his angels, man. Like I said earlier, this is going to be the time of miracles. But it says, be joyful, O thou mother, with thy children, for I will deliver thee, said the Lord. Hey, said the Lord, man. He's stamping his name on it. Right? So you best believe that's what's going to happen. Right? So let's get some more on this article, right? So not only just the law enforcement during this government shutdown, right? You got the U.S. veterans, man. They're not going to get paid. They're not going to get supplied with the medicines that they need, man. The help, the apartments, all of that, man. It's going to be shut down. It says, travel, you being able to travel. You're not going to be able to travel, right? So we just read that. I'm going to just get to the point. Read it again. 2nd Ezra 15, right? It says 2nd Ezra 15 and 17. And that's how we know these are slowly graduating. And I'm about to get that in Deuteronomy 32 just to prove it. But this is 2nd Ezra 15 and 17. A man shall desire to go into another city, into a city, and shall not be able. Right? So this goes into traveling, man. Whether you're traveling outside the United States or you traveling in the United States, man, it's going to be a shutdown, man. It's going to be a military state. Right? And it don't have to happen. It's not going to happen in this exact order that I'm putting it. But you can see what's happening more and what's happening less. Right? And that makes me perfectly put up for Deuteronomy 32. Right? And I love the scripture, man. It's Deuteronomy 32 and 1. Give ear, O ye heavens, and I will speak, and hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. And we just read in Isaiah 55 and 11 that his words is not going to come back void. The words that come out of his mouth, they shall accomplish what he please. Right? Verse 2, my doctrine shall drop as the rain. My speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass. So just like how the rain drops on the grass and it takes time to grow, that's how the Lord's doctrine is, which goes into the prophecies of this book, man. The same way you look at it rain in the winter, right, or the autumn. Hey, and it takes, in the next week, you cut the grass next week or two, it's kind of like an inch, and it's 2 inches, then it's 3 inches, and just it's until it gets to the point where you can't even see, what's on the other side of your grass. So I can straight up, man. So I'm gonna read this again. Deuteronomy 32 and 2. My doctrine shall drop as the rain. My speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb. We know herb goes into grass, right? And he said the rain upon the herb, the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass. So straight up like that, man. It's going to slowly happen, but surely. Slowly, but surely, man. So we got travel. We got national parks. They're going to be closed, man. Yellowstone National Park. You ain't going to be able to go there, man. All right? You got government backup loans. So those loans that that you're getting for your mortgage, all that, man, it's going to come to a halt, man. And yes, you're still going to be losing stuff in the middle of that, man. Right? But these are the things that could continue, and it's going to slow down, or it is going to stop also, right? So Social Security, right? The checks, income tax, right? And we know everybody look forward to that, man. And we're about at that time, man, where people start getting their taxes again, right? And if there's a shutdown, there's going to be none of that. There's going to be these shutdowns. They're going to get longer and longer and longer, right? You might have one for 3 weeks. The next one going to be for 3 months. The next one going to be for a year, until it's a complete military state, right? They programmed you to accept that as normacy, right? You got border patrol, right? It says customs and border patrol functions will probably continue, right? You got welfare, right? Mail, right? National defense, the justice system, all that stuff is going to be stopped, man, or altered, right? the farms, right? That goes into the trucks are not going to be coming in. The boats are not going to be coming in, right? Transportation, right? Whether you're on a plane, right? A bus, right? And that goes into for the elderly, man. They're going to be out here stuck too, man. From the young to the elderly, unless you're part of the elect. Hey, so we look forward to this government shutdown, man. And we hope this is the last one, but we know it's not. We know it takes time. And their excuses, man, they're in debt. But I want to play this video right quick. Right? It talks a little bit about this shutdown, what's going on. It's only a minute long, so bear with me.
To Washington in the high stakes this morning with the government shutdown looming and a battle over the debt ceiling. A do-or-die moment shaping up for President Biden's agenda. Our congressional correspondent Rachel.
So what I was talking about earlier, dealing with the Senate, it says the Senate Republicans block funding bill, right? So when you go into the Senate, it goes into the Republicans and the Democrats, right? This is ancient Rome, man. There's not supposed to be divided, but this is how Esau does things. This is how he tricks you, right? He gives you that illusion of choice to be a Republican or a Democrat, man, to be a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter. It's illusion of choice because they're both evil, right? They're making you think these are the only two options, right? And we, Americans fall for it. They fall for this thing, man. And like I said, this is an old Roman custom, right? They go to the poplars and optimates, man. The Democrats and the Republicans, man. But let me continue this.
Scott is on Capitol Hill with the latest, and Rachel, the clock is really ticking on all of this. Good morning.
Wait, good morning. It is crunch time. A government shutdown is now just 72 hours away, and the nation is inching closer to a financial crisis. Overnight, a vote in the Senate to keep the government funded and raise the debt limit failed. The U.S. has never defaulted on its debt, but Republicans voting to do just that, insisting that if Democrats want to propose trillions of dollars in new spending, then this is their responsibility. Democrats are quick to point out that nearly 98%.
So you see, it's a game. It's like Democrats, you pay for it. No, Republicans, you pay for it. No, you pay for it. No, you pay for it. So why ain't they showing us them actually talking about it, man? Why they only showing us these kind of situations? It looked like they just got done with a council or they're about to have one, but they're not going to actually show you what's going on in the council. And if so, the real council has nothing to do with what's on camera. All right. The real council has nothing to do on camera. Like the EU, they just had a council. The EU and the NATO had a council on if homosexuality should be accepted or not. But we know damn well that was not what the council was about. Right. The council was about Psalms 83. Right. Them coming together with one consent against the Israelites, man. But let me finish this.
Of the nation's debt predates the Biden inauguration, with a large chunk of that added on during the Trump administration. The bottom line here is that if Congress does nothing, there will be serious consequences. The government may not be able to pay its bills by mid-October. Social Security payments may be delayed. And Dr. Anthony Fauci warns that a government shutdown in the middle of a pandemic would be a worst-case scenario. Roughly 40% of workers with the Department of Health and Human Services would be furloughed. The next few days here on Capitol Hill will be a balancing act for Democrats. They are also trying to push through President Biden's economic agenda. The House is now set to vote on that bipartisan infrastructure package on Thursday. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi huddling with Democrats last night.
Hey, so there it is, man. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all games, man. That's what they do. This is what they do, man. This is what they good at, right? And Julius Caesar, they did the same thing with him, man. They did the same exact thing. He used to play those kind of games, man, so he can be king, right? They used to play those same games in Rome. That's how we know these are the same people, dealing with the architect, right? Dealing with the history. It don't matter. We see that these are the same people, man. So when people tell us that these ain't Esau, hey, man, you're going to have to prove that, man. You're going to have to prove that, right? So let me get this right quick. I'm going to pull this up right here. So this article goes into Congress moves to avert partial government shutdown, right? So the Congress, like I said, man, they playing games to try to act like You know, they don't have all this kind of authority, but man, they all playing games, man. It's all smoke and mirrors. But this is the point right here. It says the Democrats were forced. This is the only key thing I've seen in this article. It says the Democrats were forced to remove a suspension of the federal government's borrowing limit from the bill at the insistence of Republicans. So the Democrats were forced to remove a suspension of the federal government's borrowing limit. What's the point of them even being there if they can be forced to do something by the Republicans? So we see it's all a game. As actually they're in agreement, right? Because there should be an uproar if it's like this. If this is the case, it should be an uproar, but it's not. But it says if the debt limit isn't raised by October 18th, right? And that's next month. It says the country would likely face a financial crisis. And that's what we look forward to, man. Economy collapse, man. Right? Just like what happened in Rome, man. When you start letting, and you know, they call us sexist for this, but letting women be in rulership, man. Things like that, man. That's exactly how Rome fell. And that's exactly how the modern day Rome is going to fall. Right? Great confusion, like we just read. But it says financial crisis and economy recession, says Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. Republicans say Democrats have the votes to raise the debt ceiling on their own. And Republican leader Mitch McConnell is insisting that they do so. So that's all they can do is raise votes. Man, it's all smoke and mirrors, man. It's all a game, man. Understand that. We're coming up on these times, man, that the Lord is about to judge this place. All praises to the Most High God for that, though. That's what we look forward to. You have to be tired of being in this place, man. Babylon the Great. You just have to. You have to, man. Let me get this Romans 13 right quick. Get tired of being here, man. So this is Romans 13 and 11. It says, in that, knowing the time that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we believed. Hey, and this is what we go out and teach to our people, man. Our salvation is nearer than what we believe, right? Us being the children that don't sleep, right? That's looking at these articles, being a watchman, right? We tell our people this. Our salvation is nearer than what we believe, and it's time to wake up out of sleep. It's time to come out of the philosophies and doctrines that this Western hemisphere has to offer us, man. All right, so let me get that right quick. So this is 1 Thessalonians 5 and 1, right? It says, but of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. Right? So Paul is telling the Thessalonians at Thessalonica, right? That was in Greece. He says, I shouldn't even have to write this to you. You already know what's up. You already know what's going on. Right? And that goes for us doing these lessons. We shouldn't have to do these lessons. You already know what's going on. Right? It says, for yourselves know perfectly, right, that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. So we all understand that, right? You're not about to be able to calculate the day when the Lord comes. The Lord don't even know when he coming. Yahweh gonna tell him when to go. It tells you that in Revelations. Let me get it right quick. It tells you that in Revelations, I believe it's 14, man. Yahweh don't even know when he coming. It was an angel that told him to go. Right? It's in Revelations 14. 14, I'm not going to get it, but it's Revelations 14. 14 and 14 on down, man. It tells you that. The angel came out of the altar and told Yahweh to go and thrust your sickle in the harvest, man. And reap the elect, gather the elect. So Yahweh don't even know when he coming. Only Yahweh. So going back to 1 Thessalonians 5 and 2, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night, right? For when they shall say peace and safety, right? When victuals become cheap on earth, right? When it seems like things are going back to normal, peace and safety, man. There's no government shutdown, right? They ease off with the crack scene, right? It says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come out upon them as travail upon a woman with child, right? So the same way how a woman has a child, right? She gradually have contractions. The Most High said that's the same way that destruction is going to come upon them, upon this place, man. Right? So you might see things easing up a little bit, but it's going to come back stronger. Those contractions going to come back stronger when it starts to release the pressure of the baby, right? It says, and they shall not escape. You're not going to get away from this. You're going to be judged by this. Like we just read in 1 Peter 17, the house of God is going to get judged first, beginning at the elderly, right? Who know better, right? I'm about to get that in Ezekiel chapter 9, but it says, but ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Why? Because we should be being studious. We should be watching, right? Watching these articles, reading these articles, watching these videos. It's all on you, man. You the head of your house. It's all on you, man. All right. The weight of your Yahweh rests on your shoulders for you to show your wife and the children, and your wife to show the children. Right. It says, and it tells you that in Sirach chapter 3. That's what that whole chapter is about, man. The man, the woman, the children. The man teaches the woman teaches the children. Right. She's a helpmeet. But it says, verse 5, ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Right? That goes for us. Right? We're the children of the light. You know, we walk in the light. We walk in the law, statutes, commandments. Right? Proverbs 6:23. It says, ye are the children of the light and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. We're not wicked, man. It tells you in John chapter 3 that wickedness goes in, you being in darkness goes into your wickedness, your sins, your transgressions. But it says, therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. So this is going back to Romans 13 and 11, like we just read, man. You have the elect and the non-elect. Only a remnant is going to make it out of all of this. It's going to make it out of this Jacob's trouble. All right, so let's get that in Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4. Matter of fact, let's start at 4. Matter of fact, I started at 3. It says, in the glory, this is Ezekiel 9 and 3. And the glory of the God of Israel was gone up from the cherub, whereupon he was to the threshold of the house. And he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side. So a writer, we know a writer's inkhorn is what the scribes had to write down things, right? Right? You can write marks, or you can be an artist, whatever you want to do with that inkhorn, right? But it's known for writing, letters, right? Drawing. But it says, with the writer's inkhorn by his side, verse 4, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, right? We are people before a place. It says, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Right. So that goes into the men, his elect men that go out to the highways and byways and cry out, man, and spare not. Right. Being vexed with the filthy conversation of this Western hemisphere, man. Right. Our women and our children out of order. That's what that's going into. We're sighing and crying for all the abominations done on the earth, man. And those men are the children of the light, man. And they're going to have a mark. There's going to be an angel that marked their foreheads, man, spiritually. Right. And they're going to be exempt from judgment. Right. Because we're the ones, Lord willing us, we are the ones that's judging ourselves, man. Right. Studying the times diligently. But it says, verse 5, keeping the high holy days, keeping the laws, man. Keeping the laws, man. Keeping the Most High God's word on this earth while the world is lovers of themselves, man, not caring about God or his word, right? It says, verse 5, and to the others he said, in mine hearing. So the rest of the people that don't have a mark on their forehead, it says, go ye after him through the city and smite, And the word smite, it goes into punch, slap, or kill, right? And this situation is talking about killing, right? He's talking to the angel, right? Because the angels are going to be the ones that's doing the killing, right? You're not going to see them, but you're going to see them through other people, right? If you just have somebody walk up on you and they just start punching you, best believe an angel tapped in their mind to do that, right? The angel's going to be tapping in people's mind to either have mercy on you or to show you no mercy. But it says, and smite, let not your eye spare, neither have pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children. Right? For all you wicked parents, man, you putting your children to death, man, by their wicked deeds, man. You putting your own children to death by your wicked deeds, man, by not teaching them the Bible. It's a law to teach your children the Torah. It's a law, man. In Deuteronomy. I believe it's Deuteronomy 6 and 7. It's a law to teach your children the law, right? That's why little children are going to be utterly slayed, right? It says, and women, right? Don't give a damn. The Lord don't give a damn how thick you is. The Lord don't give a damn how big your breast is, how pretty you is. He don't give a damn, man. If you're not obedient unto your husband, man, you're going to get put to death, man. And you can bet your life on that, right? The Lord is not playing with none of us, right? We still serve the Lord with fear and trembling, man. But you got people that don't even serve him and they have more confidence in the Lord than us. Like they just know nothing gonna happen to them. No humility, right? Hey, but this is who the Lord is gonna slay, man. It says, and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark. So there's going to be certain men that's going to be out here that's going to fulfill 2 Ezra 2 and 26, like we just read. The Lord's hand is going to cover us so that our children and our women won't see hell. He's going to protect us, man. In this time, that's why we look forward to this time, because we know we have confidence that the Lord is going to take care of us. We're not prideful. We have confidence. We're prisoners of hope. Right? It says, hey, man, in this government shutdown, like I said, man, this is beautiful, man. Because we've been telling them this is going to happen. Now that we can see it happen, we don't even have to say we told you so. We don't even have to say it, man. We're just going to keep prophesying about the downfall, right? Giving the details of this downfall of this place, man. America's going to be stripped and made bare, right? It's going to be invaded, right? And it's going to be burned with thermonuclear destruction. Thermonuclear fire. It says, and begin, I'm going to start at 6 again. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark. So it's talking about man because he's the head of the household. If the man is in order, he have a chance to save his wife and children, right? It says, and begin at my sanctuary. It says, then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. Why? Because they are the leaders of the community, man. That's why you got the 50, 60, 70-year-old men and women dying at a high rate right now. Because the Lord is doing it, man. Right? And that's just what it is, man. There's nothing nobody's going to be able to do about this. Nothing. It's time for repentance, man. The Lord winked at our ignorance, man. The stuff that we did in the world, man. It was all in the world. Hey, but this is the time, right? Looking at these government shutdowns, looking at this pandemic, man. We see the prophecies coming to pass, man. The Euphrates River is drying up, man. Right? The fish is dying in the ocean, man. We see these prophecies coming to pass, man. Earthquakes in diverse places, man. False Christ arising, like Joshua Holmes or the Jose brother that called himself the Christ. Or you got that Jewish rat who everybody thought was the Christ, man. The words that Yahushua spoke over 2,500 years ago, man, is coming to pass right now. Right? And he says soon that, you know, our brothers and our sisters and our mothers and our cousins and our uncles are going to turn us in, man. Delivering us up to be to be put to death, man. John 16:1, it says they're going to kill us and think they do God's service because they don't know him or him that sent him. Roughly paraphrasing. Hey, man, so this is the times we're in, man. A government shutdown, man. In the middle of a pandemic, a government shutdown. Hey, so Lord willing, man, somebody was edified with this, man. Hey, pray that the Most High bring forth a swift and sore destruction on this place, man. Matter of fact, let me read this prayer of the destruction of your enemies, man. There's a prayer that we're supposed to pray, and it's the destruction of our enemies, right? So this is Sirach chapter 36 and 1. This is a prayer on the destruction of your enemies, man. Pray for this, right? We see the government shut down. This is the economy collapsing, man. This is their whole infrastructure collapsing, man, right? This is that beast that everybody's wondering after. It's collapsing, man. It tells you in Revelation 13, right? All right, so this is Sirach chapter 36, Salakia, and 1. It says, have mercy upon us, O Lord, Yahweh of all, and behold us, and send thy fear upon all the nations that seek not after thee, right? It says, lift up thy hand, hey, and pretty soon we're going to make these nations seek after the Most High. We're going to make them fall in subjection to the law, statutes, commandments. It ain't going to be no option. Right now they have an option, but pretty soon they won't. But it says, lift up thy hand against the strange nations and let them see thy power, right? And if you go to Psalm 64, 66 and 4, it says that he is terrible among the children of men, right? The Lord loved judging the heathen, right? Without mercy. It says, and let them see thy power. It says, as thou wast sanctified in us before them, so be thou magnified among them before us. It says, and let them know thee as we have known thee, that there is no God but only thou, O God. So that brings me, I got to get it. Psalm 66 and 4. Matter of fact, I'm going to start at 2. It says, Psalm 66 and 2, sing forth the honor of his name, make his praise glorious. And that's what we try to do. We exalt the Most High, man. That's why we give all praise, honor, and glory in the beginning of our lessons and in the end. All this wisdom comes from the Most High. That's why we do that. It's nothing of us. We idiots. It all comes from the Most High. But it says, say unto God, how terrible art thou in thy works, through the greatness of thy power, like we just read, right, in Sirach 36, in that prayer, how great the greatness of thy power shall thine enemies submit themselves unto thee, right? He gonna judge this place, starting with the economy collapsing, man, right? It says and the Most High does the same thing over and over, man. This ain't nothing new. The Romans economy collapsed right before they fell also. This is nothing new, man. The Greeks, the same thing, man. Greco-Roman. It says, Salakia, it says, verse 4, all the earth shall worship thee and shall sing unto thee, and they shall sing to thy name, Salah. And Salah goes into for real. Verse 5, come and see the works of Yahweh. He is terrible in his doing towards the children of men. A straight like that. So let's go to Sirach 36 again. It says, verse 3, lift up thy hand against the strange nations and let them see thy power. So there we go. We just read that in Psalm 66. It says, as thou wast sanctified in us before them, so be thou magnified among them before us. It says, and let them know thee as we have known thee, that there is no God but only thou, O God. Straight up, man. And he's going to do that through plagues, pestilence, sword, famine, destruction, right? All of that. It says, and let them know. So like in verse 6, shew new signs and make other strange wonders, right? Do some new stuff. Show them really what's going on with you. It says, glorify thy hand and thy right arm, right? And that's what goes into do things that you know is supernatural, that only you could do, right? No, make it not even questionable that it was you, right? It says, shew new signs and make other strange wonders. Glorify thy hand and thy right arm, right? Which goes into your strength, that they may set forth thy wondrous works. Raise up indignation and pour out wrath. take away the adversary, right? The adversary goes into Satan. This is a prayer. We're supposed to be praying for the downfall of our enemies, man. Right? Sirach did it. This is a prayer, man. It says, raise up indignation. Indignation is hatred, right? Let's get this word. Let's prove it right quick. Indignation goes into hatred, man. So he said, raise up hatred. He's praying that the Most High raises up hatred. So it says, resentment, umbrage, affront. I'm going to say, it says anger, distress, unhappiness, dissatisfaction, displeasure, right? Upset, offense, right? He's telling him to raise up this against the heathen, right? Raise up hatred against him, right? It says, I'm going to continue, Sirach 36 and 7 again. Raise up indignation and pour out wrath, right? Take away the adversary. Satan is, that's what the word Satan goes into. Shutdown. It goes into adversary or chief adversary, number one enemy. It says, and destroy the enemy. Who is our number one enemy? Come on, man. Hey, and the rest of the heathens too, man. They not getting no damn pass. Moab, Ammon, Ham. They're not getting no pass, man. It's just Esau is the chief enemy, right? He the one we have to focus on the most. So, Con, man, hey, man, Lord willing, you was edified, man. That's a prayer. You're supposed to pray for the downfall of your enemies, man. So with that, I'm going to say shalom.